senior Iranian official says he still believes in diplomatic talks with the United States, but claims Washington must first demonstrate it's loyal to diplomacy. Our colleagues at Sky UK spoke with the Foreign Ministry spokesperson, who also warned that Iran will respond forcefully to any further attacks from Israel.
What is left of Iran's nuclear project after the Israelis and Americans blew it to bits? The Pentagon last night said that you've been pushed back by a year or two. Is that a fair assessment, do you think?
I think, first of all, we need to understand what happened. What happened was an egregious act of aggression by Israel and then by the United States against our territorial integrity and our national sovereignty. You Londoners or you Brits, you have your own blitz. And I think what happened for 12 long days was a kind of unprovoked surprise aggression against Iranians. They killed many Iranians, close to 1,000 people lost their lives in this vicious act of war that was imposed on our nation. Our nuclear facilities were badly damaged. The point is that our nuclear facilities have been under the most robust inspection by IAEA.
Well, Dominic Waghorn has more now from Tehran.
On the street, there's a sense, I think, of subdued shock. And it's a country doesn't quite know what to do next. The airspace over western Iran, including Tehran, where we are now, has been closed because they're so worried about the Israelis renewing their offensive. So we had to fly into one of two airports in the east of the country, Mashhad. And as we landed there, we saw any number of civilian airliners lined up in a kind of parking lot for aeroplanes because they've moved a lot of their civilian fleet to the east because of the fear of them being attacked by the Israelis. A couple of Iranian fighter jets also under tarpaulins there. And then we faced a very long drive, 15, 16 hours to get to Tehran. So that gives a sense, I think, of where they're thinking in terms of what they're doing with their airspace. But once you get here, you know, there are fewer people in Tehran. We were here back in January. The traffic is much better. But on the streets, there is a sense of subdued shock amongst people here. People don't want to go on camera. They don't really want to say what they feel on camera. But off camera, they will say that they're really worried about the Israelis attacking them again. But also, there's a sense of ambivalence, I think. You know, if you say to them, are you angry about what the Israelis did? Some of them say, I've got mixed feelings about that. I just want the best for my country. So there's a mixture of still a resentment for the government here after years of social unrest and massive economic mismanagement, but also a resentment of outsiders, Americans and Israelis, trying to reorder their country and bombing bits of it to pieces. And there's a sense also, I think, that the idea of targeted assassinations that the Israelis claimed here is a bit of a misnomer. We went to one building where there was an airstrike, possibly targeting a nuclear scientist, but the area around it was badly damaged. The entire building probably has to be torn down. We talked to really disconsolate residents of that building who were very upset by what's happened to their homes, so left homeless. So, you know, one airstrike can do a lot of damage, and that's played out across building after building in this country. So that's the kind of mood on the street as far as we've encountered in 36 hours here and on our long drive here. At an official level, similar sense of shock, but the shock there amongst officials is that this happened, but also the world doesn't seem to care about it. There was a massive betrayal of diplomacy, they say, because, of course, the Americans and the Iranians were about to engage in a new round of talks, and then the Israelis attacked them, and then the Americans joined in, but also a sense of a massive breach of international law because the Israelis and the Americans did this without any UN approval, without the backing of their allies, and there's anger that the rest of the world doesn't seem to care too much about it.